Well, hello, everybody. This is Executive Senior Sales Director, Alicia Lokai, and I am so grateful that Kristen asked me to do this $1,000,000 message. So I want to tell you that for the last almost hour and a half, I have been recording and re-recording and recording and re-recording. I wanted to talk with you about the 13 things that mentally strong women don't do. And I'm in the middle of reading that book, and I'm reading a couple other books, but this book really spoke to me, and I thought it might be helpful to you. But after recording and re-recording like 1,000,000 times over the last hour and a half or so, I've decided I'm not even going to do this because it's just not feeling right. It doesn't feel right. And so what do I have as a backup? Well, I thought about going and getting one of my other books that I'm reading, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to share my story. And hopefully it will bless somebody. And so, but the 13 things mentally strong women don't do, it's by Amy Morin, Morin. You can get it on Amazon. There's several versions of her book, but I like the one that says that strong women don't do. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about my journey with Mary Kay, and hopefully it's helpful to somebody. Okay, so here's the deal. First of all, I was never going to do Mary Kay in a million years. My mom was in Mary Kay. She started when I was 12, and I thought Mary Kay was great. She did teach me at the age of 12. I started reading Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins, so she did instill that importance of reading. I can't say I love to read, but I read because I know it's important to do so, and I'm grateful for the knowledge that I gain when I do read books. So she always taught me, you should read about one book a month. And so that's, my book report when I was in high school was The Greatest Salesman in the World. So if that gives you an idea. So that's always been a big part of my life, books like that, along with scripture and those types of things. So, but I never wanted to do Mary Kay because I'm not like my mom. My mom I just looked at her, she's like beautiful, she's perfect, she's like, she's like knows what to do, she's got lots of confidence, just always very successful in everything that she did. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, I remember when she got her first pink Cadillac and I thought, are you kidding me? Like, seriously, do I have to drive around in this car? I was embarrassed. So that's kind of my background. Well, it's amazing what happens when you become poor because my mom, as a top director, and then she went on to become a national sales director, my parents were like, yeah, you're going to pay for your college, and so good luck with that. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have any money. And so I was finishing my first year, and I was out of money of college. And my background was in dance, and that's what I wanted to do, was I wanted to be a professional dancer. And I came home and I just was like, Mom, what am I going to do? Because I don't have any money. And she's like, well, you can go get a job. So I did. And I thought, oh my gosh, you guys, now seriously, I started back in 1990. Now I know some of you weren't even born yet. This was back when the phones hung on the wall, when there was no such thing as Facebook or texting or cell phones. Well, there were, but they were like bags that you put in your car that were as big as your head. And so anyway, so I just thought, okay, well, I know you can make really great money doing Mary Kay, and it's legal and moral, so I'm good. I can do this. And the first thing I thought, oh, good, maybe she'll probably give me some of her customers, like my Aunt Donna and my grandma and a couple other people, because, I'm just young and I need help and she'll help me. So when I asked her if I could have Aunt Donna and grandma, she said, no. And I said, well, who of your customers can I start with? And she said, none. And I said, well, how am I going to do this? Because you have all the friends and family that I could ever even imagine. And she said, I'm so sorry, but I know you'll figure it out. And so just to let you guys know what a saturated area I lived in and still live in, let me tell you. So National Sales Director Linda Kirkbride, who is not a national yet. So Emeritus Linda Kirkbride, Emeritus Connie Phillips, and Emeritus Sharon Stempson, and my mom, all 4 national sales directors, okay? So, I mean, there really was nobody. And so she's like, I know you can come up with 4 people that have skin. Long story short, came up with 4 people that have skin, started doing my business, earned my car. 5 months after I started, one of the things that I didn't know was I thought, gosh, if I just didn't have a mom that was a sales director, I could like do this so much faster. I could be like way more successful because my mom had a lot of car drivers and they were earning their cars like really fast. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, if I just didn't have this going on, I would be more successful. If I didn't have this. Well, then, you know, we talk about not ever comparing ourselves to other people. You know, I was like, well, if I had you know, if my mom wasn't a sales director, I would just be like so much more successful like this person and like this person and that person. And I didn't realize that other people were thinking the same thing about me. Like, well, of course she's a sales director because her mom is a sales director. And so my point of that is to tell you that you can never compare yourself to anybody, because what you compare yourself to is we take our weaknesses and we compare them to other people's strengths. And that's all that we see. You go on Facebook and you see the perfect image of the perfect family. They don't talk about how they got to fight that morning, or how one of their kids, you know, threw their toy out the window, or, I don't know, locked the cat in the basement, or just all kinds of stuff. All you see is the perfect part, right? And so I'm just here to tell you that what you see is never what is really true, okay? So I'm saying that to give you guys hope, because right now, if you have somebody that you're looking at going, she is prettier, she is more qualified, knows more about makeup, she knows more people, she has a degree, she's got this, she's got that, that's why I'm not successful and she is. I'm just here to tell you that is 110% wrong, has nothing to do with that. Kathy Rasmussen, she was my national sales director. Well, Mary Kay was my national sales director, and then Kathy became my national sales director, and before my mom did. And Kathy always said that what you see is never what it seems, and that comparing yourself to others is like suicide on the installment plan, and you will never measure up, ever, ever, ever. And she also taught me that the people that become directors, and the people that become Cadillac directors, and the people that become national sales directors are the ones that have failed the most, messed it up, screwed it up the most, but they kept getting up. So I've always kind of just kept that in my mind. Okay, so the next 20 years are going to go really fast, because this is what happened. So came in, we did our first unit club, I think 3 or 4 years after I'd been in Mary Kay as a director, and then we did our first top directors trip 1998. So I've been a director for 7 years, and we did our first, and I know some of you are listening to this are like, oh, you did your top director trip in your first year as a director. And I think that is so great. So, like, you know, I need to learn from you. But this is my journey. And so those of you that feel like it's taking you longer than you think it should to get to where you want to be, all I have to tell you is that's just not true. You are going through and learning every single thing that God wants you to know and to learn to be the very best you that you could possibly be. So we earned our first top directors trip. That was also, I got married in May. We finished the top directors trip in June, went on our top directors trip. Life was great. Built a home. And, you know, my husband quit his job and I was supporting him. I mean, it was just, life was wonderful. And then we had our first child a couple years later, and I got really sick. Like, I started, like, right after I had him, about 3 months after I had him, I started getting really sick. And we didn't know what it was, but this went on for 3 years. And, I mean, it was pretty debilitating. It was so bad that, you know, I remember when my brother was graduating from medical school, I couldn't even I mean, I could not even go to support him. I couldn't even get on a plane. And nobody knew what was wrong. And we earned another trip, and then I remember I was crawling to my office one day. I was crawling from my bedroom to my office, and my husband was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm crawling." He's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Well, because I don't have the energy to stand up." And he was like, "Okay, enough. Enough is enough." So we started going all over the country looking for doctors. We were even going, willing to go outside the country. The problem was that every doctor that I saw was telling me that there was nothing wrong with me, that it was all in my head. So I thought, great. So I'm like a mental case. So I've got this like unnamed thing that nobody knows what it is. And so I just decided that, like, seriously, like, there's something wrong with me. I was like totally stressed out because I had this weird something that nobody knew what it was. And then I was making it up in my head, as so I was being told. And I just was like, I can't handle this. At that point, I was an executive senior. Actually, I was an elite executive senior, and we were pretty close to finishing our national area. I would say probably, from what I know now, about 18 months from finishing our national area. That's what I was being told by my mom and a couple other nationals at that time. And I just was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. So I called the company to resign, and I just said, I'm a terrible leader. I'm sick all the time. I think I'm sick because I'm stressed, and I don't know what I'm stressed about because I love my Mary Kay, but I'm just sick and I can't do this, and I give up. And I remember talking to a very sweet woman who is a dear friend at corporate, and she said, "Okay, you can't quit. Like, we're not going to let you quit." And I said, "But I need to quit because I'm a terrible leader." And she's like, "Well, you can just not work and write it out and just see how long that lasts." And I just thought, okay, great. Well, that's what I'll do. And so I had no plans on continuing on with my Mary Kay. I didn't tell my offspring directors that was my plan. I didn't tell my unit members that was my plan, but that was my secret plan, because I just didn't want to deal with it. There's so many wonderful things about being the daughter of a national, but there's also some crazy things that can go on as well. And I just, I let things get to my head. They always talk about the space between your ears, protect it like it's your child, and think of the thing that you would do anything for. It's your kids. Or maybe you have a pet or something like that. I mean, that's how much you should protect that area between your two ears. And so, long story short, I didn't do anything for the next 5 years, just hung out, I shouldn't say I hung out. I was really sick. I was in bed and all of that. I slowly started to get better. We found a doctor in Colorado, so I was traveling out to Colorado. She was helping me out, and I started feeling better. And then my husband actually said, my job, by this time I had 2 kids, and my husband was like, I'm going to have to travel, so you're going to have to, be at home, and the money's going to be less, because this was in 2007 and 2008 with the recession. And I was like, shoot, I'm going to have to do this Mary Kay again. I was still a director. I had no clue how that happened, but I was still a director. We had qualified for a Cadillac, and then we dropped down to the middle car, we used to call it the middle car, the Premier Club. And I don't say that that's, like no big deal. I think Premier Club is like a major awesome thing. But we were at the Premier Club level, and I restarted my business. I was not happy. I was sad because I thought I was done with Mary Kay. I still had offspring directors. I did have a couple that quit during that time, but I thought, okay, I'm just going to do this. Restarted, and that first year back, we went from no unit club to 500,000. So that was in 2010, and then the next year we went from 500,000 to having our highest year ever, which was 735,000. And at that point, I was an executive senior, and I had gotten back up to executive senior, and I was told that I was probably 6 months away from becoming a national. And a week later, come home from seminar, a week later, I went to bed, woke up the next morning, it was numb from my shoulders to my toes. And it kept getting worse and worse to the point where I ended up spending, over the course of several years, 100, and I think we counted it's 100 and almost 200 days in the hospital. Now, I don't tell you that for you to feel sorry or anything like that, but I'm just telling you that during that time, I was 100% sure that God was telling me this was not supposed to happen. I am not called to be a national sales director. I am not supposed to do this. And I remember I was in my kitchen, and it had been several years since this whole disease had started, and it really was debilitating. And by the way, the disease or the sickness that I had for 5 years that I was told was in my head was a precursor to this. We found it was all connected. And I just thought, I'm just not cut out to do this, because this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life. I can't walk very well. I don't feel good most of the time, blah, 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 blah. And I hate to say that out loud because I don't like to manifest anything, but that was just what was going on. And I was in my kitchen, and I had just told my husband, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. And this was, probably 4 years after this had happened, so 4 or 5 years after this had happened. And I just remember it was like the most incredible, it was almost like lightning in my brain, that it was like, you are supposed to be a national. I want you to be a national. And I remember thinking, okay, where did this come from? Like, I'm not working. I'm not doing anything. I mean, I'm working a little bit. I know I was working a little bit because I love my Mary Kay. I loved it so much, but I was just really sick. I remember being in the hospital and working with some of my directors and working with consultants while I was in the hospital. And, they're sticking needles in me, and I'm talking to people about helping them, how to earn your car, and let's finish up your car, and let's do this and let's do that. Anyway, here we are. So it is, so I've been back working my business now for almost 5 years. I started back around 2016, about the middle of 2015 is when I restarted working. And I'm just here to tell you that we're going to get this national area done. And, whatever obstacle you have in your life that's going on right now, whatever thing that you have that you feel is stopping you, don't you dare stop. Don't stop. You keep going. I don't care if every single person in your corner has told you you cannot do Mary Kay. This is crazy. Why are you doing this? I had my own family members that were telling me that. The only person not telling me that was my mom. And she was like, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. And so, you guys, I know we're going to do this. I haven't done it fast, but we're going to do this. And so I'm just telling you, the people, Kathy Rasmussen said to me, the people that make it to the top, whatever that is for you, are the ones that have fallen down the most. And Mary Kay Ash says that herself, are the ones that have the bloodiest knees and fall down the most, but they don't give up. So my message to you is, don't give up. Keep going, and you will accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. I 125% guarantee it, as long as you don't quit. So go get that booking. Go do what you need to do today. Don't wait until the first of the month. Don't wait, I'm going to wait for August and start in September. You start today. Go get it done so that you can reach whatever goal, whether it's a financial goal, whether it's a Mary Kay goal, whether it's whatever it is, but you can reach those goals for you and your family or your future family. Love you. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys have a great day.